calls for action, and now, nip it in the bud.
Michelle Pfeiffer? The only true Catwoman is Julie Newmar, Lee Merriweather, or Eartha Kitt. And I didn't need molded plastic to improve my physique. Pure West.
Good morning, angels.
Good morning, Charlie.
I love it when a plan comes together.
It's time. Let's talk about music, movies, and mostly television from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. You know, the good stuff. Hello, happy Sunday to everyone, and welcome to the Good Stuff Live. My name is Dave Sundstrom, and if you enjoy talking about music, movies, and mostly TV from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, well, you've found the right place. For those folks who haven't joined me on a weekend live stream before, they're usually a little bit different. I don't typically have a guest with me on the weekends. Like I do on Wednesdays. Instead, they're just low-key conversations. We'll go wherever the conversation takes us today. First off, want to say hi to Superfan Lance Chafin. Always great to have you here. Spike Spikerson, welcome as well. DJ Mexicano de Texas, hola, mi amigo. Kenneth Wilkinson doesn't look like he was able to stick around, but popped in to say hi, as is the case with Thrash Pondo Pons. He says, won't be around. Sadly, my wife and I have a memorial service to attend today. We'll be sure to check it out as a replay. Well, I hope you do, Thrash Pondo, and I hope everything goes well at the memorial service that you are attending. Let's see who else is here. Let's see. I think I said hello to Superfan Spike Spikerson, but I am going to say hello again, and I'm going to read this comment from Superfan Lance Chafin, who says, the new calzone pizza at Little Caesars is very tasty. You know what? We had that this week as well, and I have got to agree with you 100%. Just a little bit of trivia. The youngest Sundstrom son works at our local Little Caesars, so we consume pizza from that establishment with great frequency, and yeah, I really like that new calzone pizza. It's pretty darn good. David Thomas is here. Good to have you with us this wonderful Sunday, the Sunday before the Labor Day holiday. It's our Labor Day weekend here in the United States, and great to have you here, Dave Thomas. Nicholas Mamonis, always a treat to have you here. And Tracy Roth Myers, super fan Tracy Roth Myers, is in the house. Welcome, Tracy. Happy to have you join us today. Continue scrolling through. We've got the Josh Sings in the house. Great to have you here, Josh, in Georgia. It's wonderful to have you on the live stream with us today. Algama One, greetings. Good to have you here. I think it might be the first time I've seen you on a live stream, so welcome. Kimberly Wiederhold, welcome. Good to, a Sunday nap. Does it get any better than that? Glad you were able to join us, Kimberly. Michael Staunton's here as well from Ireland. One of my favorite places, one of my favorite bands. The Boomtown Rats come from Ireland, so great to have you here, Michael Staunton, and welcome. What a lovely country you have. Mal Havoc is here as well, and Tracy Roth, super fan Tracy Roth Myers, cooking a little bit of soup. We've got some clam chowder in the fridge that's just begging to be consumed. That might be my lunch today as well. Little Wing says, my pop culture guru, hello. Well, hello to you, Little Wing, and welcome to today's live stream. Mike Jones, welcome. Robot B9, always a pleasure to have you with us on the live stream. Son of a Red Shirt says, at Dave Sundstrom and everyone else, good afternoon. Hope everyone's Labor Day weekend is going well. And for those who don't want to celebrate Labor Day, well, enjoy working. let's just all celebrate it and take the day off tomorrow. What do you think? Edward Myers says hello. Good to have you here, Ed. Let's see. Yes, Tracy Roth Myers points out that Willard Scott passed away. I think he actually passed away late yesterday. At least I remember seeing it on the news yesterday evening. So that's darn sad. Willard Scott, of course, the first Ronald McDonald. Esparca says, first visit. Well, it's great to have you here. Again, for those who don't know what this live stream is about, I have a live stream on Wednesday, and I usually bring in guests, and we talk about all sorts of things. Typically, there's a topic or a loose topic that we center our conversation around. On the weekends, I don't do that. The weekends, I'll do? I'll answer any questions you guys have, or I'll just let the conversation go wherever the chat takes us. Great to have you here, Esparca. Thanks for joining us as we wax a little bit nostalgic about music, movies, and mostly TV from the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Dominic D., welcome. Great to have you here. Patrick Fennell's in the house. Hello from GB Mass. I'm not sure where GB Mass is. Is that Great Britain? Might need a little help there, Patrick. Raja 1938. Awesome to have you here. Hey. TJ921 Abel, happy Sunday to you, my friend. Rome Ticklin, good to have you here as well. Blaze, great to have you with us this fine Sunday morning. I did not see Sunday morning. We actually got pulled away on a different thing this morning, so I have it recorded on the DVR, and I'll probably watch CBS Sunday morning this evening, as it is really a fun thing that I enjoy doing. I remember, who was it? Charles Osgood, I think, that hosted it before Jane Pauley. I remember thinking that it was an old person show, and well, I must be an old person because I really enjoy kicking off my Sundays that way. Michael Bandy says, greetings from Las Vegas. Well, greetings from Kaysville to you, Michael. Great to have you on the live stream. And Cindy D., welcome. Says she can't stay, getting ready for work. Well, it's still awesome to have you pop into the live stream. Mal Havoc says Little Caesars is great. I totally agree. You know what? For being an economically priced pizza restaurant, I really like the pizza there. I really like their combination. It's one of my favorite pizzas. But that calzone pizza, holy cow, it's really tasty. Steve's Fun Adventure says hello. Hello right back to you there. And Georgia says, hi, Mr. Sundstrom. Well, hi to you, Georgia. Great to have you here. Algama1 says, Dave, do you live near where Ida hit? No, I do not. So I live in Utah, the great state of Utah, and we have our own weather issues from time to time. Most specifically lately, it's been a lot of smoke and just pollution from the fires that are coming, the winds bringing them over from California and the Northwest, Oregon in particular. But we haven't had any sort of weather disaster like we've seen take place in Louisiana and New Jersey, New York recently. Holy cow, that Hurricane Ida was a big one. And my heart goes out to all of those folks that were affected by Hurricane Ida. Let's see. Tom is here. Great to have you with us, Tom, even if you can't stay long. And Mr. 79 Man says, hi, Dave. Ready for the good stuff. The Josh Singh says, hey, I applied for a job at Eaton Park. I don't know what an Eaton Park is, although I suspect it's going to be a restaurant, a fast food restaurant where you might be, where they might make some tasty burgers. At least it sounds like it. You'll have to tell me. Algama One says that they were here for 2 minutes last week. Well, there you go. I missed those 2 minutes in the chat. I haven't come back and I haven't been able to watch the replay from last week's chat yet, but I will, and I'll probably see you there in the chat. Skip Rock Jr.'s in the house. He says, is this the Greg Evigan appreciation stream? Well, it surely can be. Greg Evigan, of course, was the star of one of my favorite shows on television in the 70s, late 70s. And I'm not talking about My Two Dads. That came later on. Fine show, but not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, of course, BJ and the Bear, a show that inspired me, at least for a very short period of time to want to be a trucker as a career. Of course, things changed over time, and I haven't pursued that career path, but you never know. I'm not completely over the hill yet. Maybe I'll do that as a second or third career. Kristen Davis says, "Hi, Dave. I grew up in the 70s, so I enjoy watching your videos." Well, thank you very much, Kristen. I do have to point out, I've got a new video out there, which is the Kent McCord video, The Day That Forever Changed Kent McCord. It's one of my, you know what, they're all my favorites. I really enjoyed making this one. However, I love the story. So if you haven't had a chance to check that one out, I'd encourage you to do so. All right, what else do we got here? Sakina McMurrin says, "Hello, Dave. I'm a new fan from New York City." Well, thank you so much. "I love the soothing sound of your voice." Well, I really appreciate that. You know what? My voice gets mixed reviews. I saw in the comments earlier today, someone said that they enjoy watching my videos, but they have to watch my videos at 1.5 speed. And so maybe I could talk a little faster, but then I just feel like my cadence would sound off. So probably won't. You probably, if you think I talk too slow, I would encourage you to do the same thing and just ratchet up the speed a little bit. Let's see. Oh, Kimberly Wiederhold said, "Thank you. Thanks again for saying my name right. You're very, very welcome." It's tough sometimes. It's hard to know if you're saying things right. Like, for example, Richard, I'm going to say, boy, I'm not even going to try that one. It's either Poggi or Poggi or Poggy. But who knows? Maybe you can help me with the pronunciation there, Richard. He says, "Vero Beach, Florida." Well, great to have you here from Vero Beach, Florida, Richard. And let's see who else is here. Tom, aka Hungry Jerk, said, "Huge news. Tony Dow checked into the hospital. They say pneumonia is so bad that he's fighting for his life." I'd heard that he was getting better. So here's the sad. Let me leave that up here for a minute as we talk about Tony Dow. So he has been sick for a couple of weeks now, from what I understand. And they actually took him to the emergency room and tried to get him in the hospital earlier on. And the beds, as you've all heard, were all filled. There was no place for Tony to go. I believe they sent him home. If they not that, he stayed there in the waiting room, delayed for a period of time before they could get the care that they needed for Tony. I had heard that it was pneumonia or the flu or something like that, that it wasn't COVID. And but I had also heard that he was on the mend. So that's just heartbreaking to know that he's struggling and things have taken a turn for the worse. Thanks for the heads up, Tom. And for those that, I would just say let's keep Tony in our thoughts, right? Let's try to throw all the positive karma that we can Tony's way so that he can get better. He's just a young buck still. He's not necessarily old dude. So let's hope that he can fight this thing off and get better. And I'm certainly sending my best wishes to Tony and his family. Great guy. Dominic D says, "If you're talking about television trivia during Labor Day weekend, you can't forget the Jerry Lewis telethons all those years." I absolutely cannot. As a matter of fact, I am a huge Jerry Lewis fan, and I enjoyed those telethons. Sometimes the guests they had on weren't appealing to me, felt like they appealed to a different generation. But there were other times where I was just captivated, and I certainly always appreciated what Jerry was trying to accomplish with that telethon. David Thomas says, "Let's all remember Scott." Of course, he's referring to Willard Scott, who we talked about a little bit earlier, who passed away yesterday. Kimberly Wiederhold says, "Greg Evigan will always be BJ McKay." Yeah, he always will be. What a great show. And, I went down a rabbit hole not too long ago, kind of just reminiscing about BJ and the Bear. And there's some sadness there in terms of what happened to that chimp who played Bear. He ended up turning on an owner, and it's just not a great story. and sad to read, but boy, did I enjoy that show. And I also enjoyed Lobo, the spinoff show that starred Claude Aiken. Mal Havoc says, definitely ordering some Little Caesars this weekend. Why not? It's not a huge spend, and it's delightful. Delightful. Skip Rock Jr. says, Robot B9. So this is directed to Robot B9. My Two Dads for me. I think they should make a My Two Dads reboot where it starts on the set of Maury. Well, they might be able to get Evigan and Paul Reiser back for that show. Algama One says, what a bizarre Ronald McDonald he was. He sure was. I think he had like the Ronald, like a mill on top of his head as a hat. It was an interesting costume. It's not the costume that we're traditionally associated with when it comes to Ronald McDonald. Well, Mr. 79 Man says, where's ENC? ENC is typically a pretty busy guy on Sundays. So like I said, I keep this live stream, I like to think of it as a Sunday social hour. I keep it to 1 hour, and we're not bringing on the guests. The topics can be whatever we want to talk about. And so for that reason, I leave my good friend Ian alone on Sundays. But my thought is, I believe he invited me to attend his live stream tomorrow. He has a live stream 6:30 my time. So that would be 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And my intent is to pop into that at least for a little while tomorrow night and visit with him before, of course, my live stream that I do, the more structured live stream that I do on Wednesdays. Not sure what Tracy's talking about here, but I enjoyed that movie, the one with Nicolas Cage. Lance Chafin says, I met Tony Dow. Hope he can get over his sickness, as do I. I didn't know that Willard was also Bozo the Clown. Should have, perhaps. 12-inch Lando, welcome. Good to have you here. And let's see. Blues Rider says, I met Tony Dow one time in Santa Monica, CA. He was a real nice guy. I've heard he's great. I did a video about Tony. That's probably been a year and a half ago. I was impressed with what I learned while I was doing the research about Tony and what he's done post Leave It to Beaver as well. Kimberly Wiederholtz says, no thanks to reboots. They're just woke crap anymore. It's not that long ago that I had to look up the word woke, so I understood what everybody was talking about when they said woke. I don't mind when we go, bring in diversity into a reboot or a remake. I do mind when it's not right, when it doesn't feel good, when it's, when it just, sometimes things fit and other times you're just trying to pound that square peg into a round hole and it doesn't work. So I tend to agree with you, Kimberly, with a bit of a, with an asterisk, saying that there are moments where I am absolutely okay with it. Who else do we have here? Lou Costa here says, hello from DJ Lou Old School. Well, great to have you here, Mr. Old School. I like to think that we're all a little bit old school here on this live stream. Mike Silva says they're rebooting Doogie Howser. Do we really need a reboot of Doogie? Well, I guess you could ask that about most everything. Mr. 79 Man, again, talking about my favorite pizza place, Little Caesars. And Blaze Ronstadt says, been watching since I was 17. Not sure what we're talking about there. Maybe I should go back and read the chat a little bit more. I'll do that later on when I watch the replay. Tracy Rothmeyer says, you're in Kaysville. My friend's hometown is in Kaysville. In Kaysville, Utah? Well, it's a wonderful little place. I tell you, I really enjoy living here. Let's see. Oh, yeah, you can't forget the crazy bread with the sauce, right? You got to have the sauce as well. Mike Silva says, has anybody ever seen the awful and one of the creepiest movies ever made, Mac and Me? I have seen it years and years ago. I haven't revisited it, but I got to tell you, Mike, I've been tempted to revisit it just because it was, is it as bad as I remember? Sounds like you think it is. Algama One says, Utah is beautiful. I live in Albuquerque and we had smoke from California. Wasn't that crazy? We had so much smoke coming in from California in the Northwest. Algama One says, I'm from Philly originally and was shocked by the tornadoes and the floods there. Yeah, that's crazy too. We have in Utah, tornadoes are a real rare thing. We do get floods from time to time, as you know, depending on the amount of snowfall that's coming off the mountains or the snow as it melts. Let's see what else we got here. David Thomas says, I thought of Little Caesars but went to Pizza Hut for meat lovers. That's a fine call as well. Let's see. I'm not sure I understand. The Weeder has been pretty funny lately and not in a good way. Mike Silva's in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And Kimberly asks, why was Eddie Wally's friend? You know, I don't know if they ever explored that, but I think that probably Eddie needed Wally more than Wally needed Eddie. And you saw a little bit of that, particularly in the new Leave It to Beaver, how much Eddie really valued the moral compass that Wally was for him. Lance says, good question, Kimberly. Great question, Kimberly. Robot B9 says, never got the appeal of that show with the chimpanzee. I enjoyed BJ and the Bear. I thought the entire cast was great. Kevin Walter, welcome to the live stream, says, hi, Dave. Thanks for being here while I work on my laundry. Well, you're very welcome. It's great to have you hanging out with us while you do your laundry. Thank you, Sakina. Again, welcome to the live stream. Yeah, I think you can make some great money being a trucker. Of course, you got to watch out for the accidents. You don't want to have like a tragedy like what befell Large Marge. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Mr. 79 Man says, Dave, you're a family man. Please don't be a trucker. I was one, and it was hard to be away from the family. Well, the deal is my family's getting a little bit older now, you know. Don't have as many kids at home as I used to, and they might not miss me so much. Might need to go out and make a little extra money. Let's see. TJ921 Abel says, I saw the Kent McCord video. It was great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And again, I'd encourage folks to go out and watch it if you haven't seen it yet. Skipper Rock Jr. says, Greg Evigan sang the theme song to My Two Dads. Did he sing the theme song to BJ and the Bear as well? I kind of thought he did. Let's see. The Josh sings, talking about the restaurant where he's going to go work called Eaton Park. He says, it's not necessarily fast food, but it is delicious, and they have a huge menu, and their salad bars kick butt. You know what? You know the salad bar I really miss is Wendy's. A fast food chain used to have a really awesome salad bar, but years ago they got rid of it. And I think that's a shame. Wendy's is, not that it's horrible food, but I really feel like the Wendy's from 15, 20 years ago was a much superior establishment to the Wendy's that exists today. Let's see. Well, good luck with that, Josh. Rome Ticklin says, Tony Dow is feeling a bit better. There are messages to fans on Jerry Mather's Facebook page from Tony. That's awesome. I am so glad to hear that he's doing well, or better at least. Dave Thomas says, remember Tech War? Sure do. William Shatner's Tech War, and Evigan was a star in the television series that those novels were based upon. Yeah, Bear was the name of that chimpanzee. Exactly. My friend Danny Staten from South Carolina. Great to have you with us as always, Danny. Welcome to the live stream. Let's see. Mike Silva says, remember how Siskel and Ebert hated the Red Sonja movie? I don't remember them reviewing that movie, but that was, of course, Bridget. What was her name? She married Stallone. Bridget something or other, who starred as Red Sonja in the 80s, based on the Marvel comic book, and it doesn't surprise me that they didn't like it. Although Roger Ebert was a huge comic book fan, and typically Siskel never liked any of those things, but typically Ebert he'd be more likely to give a comic book movie a favorable review. Oh, thank you, Patrick. Great Barrington, Massachusetts. All right. Appreciate the clarification as to your location. Yeah, Mal Havoc says a bear would have been hard to fit in a truck. Absolutely. As I keep scrolling through here, just want to make sure I get to all of the comments where we can talk a little bit about them. Dominic D says, I think BJ and the Bear started going downhill when the chimpanzees started writing the scripts. That is funny. That would be a sure sign that the show was going downhill. And Mal Havoc says, I loved Red Sonja. You know what? I've never seen the movie. I can honestly say I haven't seen that movie. Probably should go back and watch it. Let's see. Absolutely. Best wishes for Tony Dow. Thank you, Raja, 1938. Son of a Red Shirt says, I was quite fond of BJ and the Bear. I liked when Sheriff Lobo got his own show and he turned into a nice guy. Yeah, I did too. But my favorite Greg Evigan TV series has got to be William Shatner's Tech War. I think I caught 1 or 2 episodes of that, but didn't watch a lot of it. You know, one of those things that if I eventually, when things slow down a little bit in my life, I'd love to go back and watch that and get acquainted with that. I'm a big fan of course, William Shatner, although I don't think he made any appearances on the TV series. If he did, they were limited. Let's see. Mal Havoc says Red Sonja had awesome sword fights, and 12-inch Lando said hot and sticky, sometimes icky here in Atlanta, Georgia. Yeah, that humidity can get really rough there. Lance Chafin, super fan Lance Chafin, says, Tracy, I met Tony Dow in the late 80s. He was real nice to talk to. Son of a Red Shirt says Tony Dow played the character of Wally, the older brother, on Leave It to Beaver, classic TV series. I think there was a question earlier in terms of who Tony Dow was. I do believe Schwarzenegger was in Red Sonja. I wasn't sure if he played the Conan the Barbarian character. Let's see here. I'm falling way, way behind on the chat, so I'm going to skip forward a bit. Hopefully I don't miss too many great comments. I got to put this one up. Superfan Tracy Rothmeyer says, love Utah. Well, thank you very much. I love Utah as well. Wonderful place. The Josh Singh says he thought I lived in Michigan. No, I've never lived back east. Robot B9 says Mac and Me was actually very amusing. Paul Rotter asks, what's my favorite TV theme song? I love the Batman theme song from 1966. Easy to remember. I also am a big fan of the Gilligan's Island theme song. Let's see. Brainworms, welcome to the live stream, says longtime viewer. First time question from the UK. Do you think they will ever do a Logan's Run reboot? And who would I like to see in it? I would love to see a Logan's Run reboot. I haven't thought about who I would like to see in it. It would have to be someone fairly young, because of, the whole idea behind the story. So, a lot of my favorite actors are too old to be playing Logan in the movie. So I don't immediately have an answer to that. I have to think some more about that one. That might be a fun future video, kind of like who would I cast in a Logan's Run reboot? But I definitely would like to see it. And great question. Thanks so much for it. Let's see, Wonder Woman or Wonder Years reboot. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming, and Fred Savage is involved in it. We'll, as with all of these things, we'll wait and see. But it's one of those where, can you really improve upon the original? I'm not sure if it's possible. Mal Havoc says Mac and Me was hilarious. I love that movie. It has a McDonald's tie-in to it. That's one of the funny things about that show. It was E.T. that I believe McDonald's actually ponied up some of the cash to finish production of the movie, hence the ironically titled name of the character, Mac. I definitely need to go back and watch that again one of these times. Danny Staten says, I'm so far behind in the chat, I'm going to need Doc Brown's DeLorean to catch up. And Mercury Universe talks about a Wonderbug movie. Wouldn't that be neat? I don't know who that question's directed to, but I would not mind seeing, for that matter, there's a ton of Sid and Marty Krofft properties that I'd love to see rebooted. Now, those are shows that are worthy of a reboot. All right, we're at the 30-minute mark. So As I always enjoy doing, we're going to take a break from the comments and we're going to have a brief vintage commercial break, and then we'll be right back for the second half of our Sunday social hour.
Jordache has the fit that's right. The Jordache look. The Jordache look.
There really is a Kentucky Fried Chicken school.
Yep, today we're making the Colonel's original recipe.
What have you learned?
Fresh chicken makes the best chicken.
And that we use 11 herbs and spices.
Oh, but that's the Colonel's secret. And special pressure cooking.
So it's always tender and juicy.
Looks like you've learned to make great chicken.
Only way to serve our customers right.
It's so nice to live. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Honey, you're going to be just beautiful tomorrow.
A Coke and a smile.
Okay, everybody, let's get this rehearsal going.
Makes me feel good. That's the way it should be. And I'd like to see the whole world smiling with me. Have a Coke and a smile.
Has Wayne Newton split with his wife and hit the jackpot with his new romance? Inquiring minds want to know.
I want to know.
Can you lose weight by switching from celery to sweets? This week's National Enquirer tells you. How can you put office troublemakers in their place? What curse of death and disaster haunts the Super Bowl?
It's in the Enquirer.
What bizarre surprises popped up on Caroline's wacky honeymoon? Find out in the Enquirer. Over 100 features for people with inquiring minds.
Like me.
One Day at a Time has moved. The craziest cast of characters in some of their zaniest adventures ever. Now come to you in the morning at a brand new time. Anything goes, and it usually does. So be sure to watch us, because it all happens one day at a time. Now at 10 Eastern, 9 Central and Pacific.
This is CBS.
You know, I love watching vintage commercials. It's one of the great things about YouTube is that you can go back and watch all these commercials from decades gone by. And I've got to say, back then I hated those commercials, but now I see these commercials, and when I watch them, of course, I start thinking about things that were happening in my own life at the time that those commercials aired on television. Speaking of commercials, I do want to just briefly mention my appreciation for those folks who become supporting members of this channel that have clicked on that little join button there right below the videos and pledged their support on a monthly basis. What they typically get, well, first they get my undying love and appreciation. Beyond that, they get to, on many of my videos, preview them. For example, the Kent McCord video was out for about a day and a half. As I kind of thought about it and thought about any changes I wanted to make to it, I allowed it out there for the super fans, my supporting members, to see. I also try to prioritize my response to comments to the members first. I feel like if they're pledging their support monetarily, that I should try to respond to those comments first. And you know what? I'm going to offer up a live stream, a members-only live stream during the month of September. That'll happen later on in the month. But I do want to say thank you to those folks who have clicked on that join button and become supporting members. Those individuals are Braidwood Inn, Lisa Fields, Byron Bushnell, Lance Chafin, Tracy Rothmyers, Tom Gladstone, Gregory McLaughlin, Biznicio, Spike Spikerson, Stephen Scott, Emily Miller, Retro Serial, John Collins, James Mitchell, and Superplex. So thank you again to those fine folks. Since my friend Pat McCormick isn't on with me today, I'm going to do a double shot of Lawrence Welk to show my appreciation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's the nicest thing that anyone's ever done for me. Thank you very, very, very much.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that support for those folks that enjoy the channel enough that they want to do that. I truly appreciate each one of you. All right, let's get back to the comments. I'm sure I'm even further behind. So, Son of a Red Shirt says they should get Hugh Jackman for a Logan's Run reboot. Who would that be, and how could it be, given that by a certain age, people go to, what do they call it? I can't remember what they call it. Carousel, right? And some sort of heaven. And of course, we all know that's death for those folks that are over the age of 30. I think 30. 30? I can't remember. Mr. 79 Man says Wally and Eddie were buddies because they had different personalities. Absolutely. They relied on each other. Marcus Smith, welcome to the live stream, says, are you going to do a video on Unsolved Mysteries? I may in the future. I'm a big fan of Robert Stack and watched that show quite a bit in the 80s. Paul Rotter says the A-Team theme is good. I like the theme from SWAT. Both of them great theme songs. Robot V9 says Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a classic. Absolutely. And Kimberly Wiederholt doubles down on the no reboots. No reboots. You know what? I will agree with you on this, Kimberly, that creativity and originality are the way to go. Typically, a reboot is a sign of a studio, or a creator just kind of running out of ideas. And Mike Silva basically says just what I said. It's nice when they do something original. Superfan Lance Chafin says, Marcus, Unsolved Mysteries with Robert Stack. He had a haunting voice. He had a great voice as the narrator of that program. Let's see what else we got. Sheila Elhine, welcome to the live stream, Sheila, says Judy Norton mentioned on her channel about a reboot of the Waltons. Richard Thomas was approached to narrate. Another one that I really don't see the need to reboot, but if they are going to do that, it would be great for them to involve the original cast in some manner. Mr. 79 Man says Alan Thicke was talented, sang and acted. Absolutely, truly talented guy. Also hosted both a daytime and an evening talk show for a period of time in the 80s. Robot B9 says, whatever happened to P.W. Herman? P.W. Herman, also known as Paul Rubens, is still out there, still a creative force. About 5 years ago, maybe not 5 years ago, a few years back, had a new movie out there on Netflix called Pee-wee's Big Vacation. Really fun movie. They did use some de-aging on Paul Rubens to make Pee-wee appear to be roughly the same age as when he was in Big Adventure. And it's a well-done little movie. I don't think it's as original as the original Tim Burton classic, but it's still fun, and I've watched it a few times. Let's see. Tracy Rothmeyer, superfan Tracy Rothmeyer says, I love all your videos, even those people I don't know. Thank you so much for the kind words, Tracy. David Thomas says, when I worked at Wendy's, they had a salad bar. Loved it too. Yeah, great salad bar. And I do think there's some irony in with your name, you working at Wendy's. That I'm sure they heckled you a little bit about it. Let's see. Mike Silva says, Dave, if you want a terrible movie, watch that is unwatchable or is watchable. I'm Manos Hands of Fate. Okay, I'll look it up. Mr. 79 Man says, since Dave Thomas left Wendy's, went downhill. I bought a junior bacon cheeseburger recently, and it was the size of a slider. Yeah, they're tiny, just tiny little burgers now. Nick Monis asks, is Tech War on YouTube? I don't know if it is or not. I haven't looked it up. And Robot B9 says Bridget Nelson. Yeah, Bridget, is that how you say it? Bridget Nelson, former wife of Stallone. Of course, she was in Rocky 4 with him, was Ransonia. The Josh Singh says, Dave, I don't ever remember Wendy's having a salad bar. Oh, it was a good one. Yeah, and I believe they even had a potato bar as well. You do remember them having wraps. Yeah, I remember when McDonald's had wraps as well. Let's see. Sakina McMurran says, Greg Evigan also did a stint on the soap opera General Hospital about 5 years ago. I was unaware of that. That's good info. Thank you for sharing. Algama 1 says, calling the chimp the bear is a wry slam on the cops. Boy, I am way behind because this is when everybody's telling me that Brigitte Nelson is the character in Red Sonja, also known as Flava Flav's girlfriend. Yep, she was also in Rocky IV. Mike Silva says, My Mother the Car, worst TV show ever made. Yes, Brigitte was also in Beverly Hills Cop 2 and Cobra. Let's see. Mike Walters, good to have you here. Says, hi, Dave. Figured I would stop in and say hello during lunch. Among his voice credits, Ed Asner voiced Hoggish Greeley. And boy, oh boy, I should know what CP is, but I'm not. Daggett in Batman the Animated Series, J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man, and Hudson in Gargoyles. Yeah, but I don't know what CP is, Mike. You might have to provide some clarity there for me. Son of a Reed shirt says, building your own salad bar was one of my favorite reasons to go to Wendy's, that and the baked potato. Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm just so far behind. Matter of fact, I can't scroll. I've lost a lot of the comments, but that's okay. We'll just keep moving. This is a response to that Jordache commercial. Brooke Shields and those Calvin Klein jeans. Those were great commercials, too. Mal Havoc says, hard to believe that the National Enquirer made commercials. They sure did. Paul Rotter says, Dave, did you ever watch Richard Hatz's Battlestar Galactica, The Second Coming trailer on YouTube? I just watched it recently. It was the first time I'd watched it, and boy, wouldn't that have been cool to have gotten that instead of what we got on the Sci-Fi Network. I never was a big fan of the rebooted Battlestar Galactica on the Sci-Fi Network. I am a big fan of the original, the classic. Algama One says that they had a crush on Valerie Bertinelli. I think a lot of folks did, as did one Edward Van Halen. And I'm sure Wolfgang Van Halen is very appreciative that he did. Steve Keys enjoyed the commercials. I'm glad you did, and welcome to the live stream, Steve. Let's see. Yeah, fake news. You can find it on both sides of the political aisle, by the way. We're not going to play politics here, but let me just say that when the Boomtown Rats wrote and performed the song, Don't Believe What You Read, that also holds true for See and Hear. Classic commercials are great. Yes, they are. Kimberly says inquiring minds don't want to know. Let's see. Wedge Antilles. Well, I'm glad you made it here. Wedge, the live stream. Loved your work there as you shot to our... I can't even think of the words. Loved your work on Star Wars. Senator Register says Jerry Lewis is a legend. What he did with that telethon was absolutely incredible. Anybody remember the name of that infamous film where he played the clown in the concentration camp? I don't. Love old commercials. Thank Custom God, and great to see you here on the live stream. Josh Sings had to take off. All right. Chris Mason, welcome to the live stream. Time Link says those commercials are so innocent and have a great air about them. They do, don't they? They really do. Yeah, Emily's not here today. Always fun when Emily's with us, but you know what? We have lives, and sometimes folk can't make it a live stream, and I totally recognize that. Dominic D says, many years ago, I heard that Chevy Chase was supposed to be George Jetson in a live-action version of the Jetsons, just like they did a live-action version of the Flintstones. I can see them doing that. I imagine that that's no longer in the works. Christopher Seeley said he enjoyed the Kent McCord video. I'm so glad you did. Spike Spikerson says, we watched the Pawn Shop Chronicles and Monsters of Man yesterday on Amazon. Enjoyed both a lot. Don't believe the reviews. Okay, we'll check those out. Thanks for the tip. Let's see. What else do we got here? Can't beat Lawrence Welk. And New Covenant Grace, welcome to the live stream. Tim Barry, welcome to the live stream. Good to have you here. I think you will discover that folks are very nice here. That's one of the things I love about this community is how kind and how supportive everybody is here. RoboB9 says Logan's Run definitely deserves a remake. I can see, and maybe something that really goes back to that original novel and pulls from it in a different way than we had with the movie that, was it 1976? I think it was a 76 film. I've done videos on the Bionic Woman in the past, Mike, but you never know. We may do more in the future. Hey, there's Ian. Folks were asking about you earlier, Ian, why you weren't here. And I told them that typically just go alone on these less formal Sunday social hours, but that I was planning, and I haven't responded to your text, so I'll respond right here and to your text later, but I was planning on popping into your live stream should nothing come up. But that's my plan so far. Hopefully be able to attend part of or all of it tomorrow evening. Let's see. Squat. Yeah, that's me. Just saying the wrong thing. Do that all the time. Thank heavens when I'm building the videos that I can go back and re-edit. Robert Stack did have a great voice. Let's see. I am tired of reboots as well. And I agree with Time Link that there's, in most cases, no need to improve the past. Algama One says, who here watched Shazam live action in the 70s? You just reminded me of something. I reached out to Jackson Bostwick, who starred as Captain Marvel in the 70s live action Shazam on CBS Network, mid-70s, and asked him if he'd be interested in maybe potentially doing an interview with me. And he didn't say yes, and he didn't say no, but he did respond to that message and asked me to reach out directly to him. He gave me another email address. So I need to do that. I haven't responded yet, but I'm hopeful. Not only did I watch Shazam in the 70s, but I loved the show, and I'm hopeful that I get a chance to visit with the one and only, the original Captain Marvel from that television series. Ali Alias said they aged up Logan's Run to 30 to accommodate Michael York. That's right. That's what I remember from the movie and the TV series. In the book, you're right. It's 21. Can you imagine going to Carousel when you're 21? Robot B9 says, I wouldn't mind a Land of the Giants remake. Let's see what else we got. Christopher Seeley, welcome to the live stream. Me TV is also is awesome. I totally agree, as is H&I, as is Antenna TV, as is Cozy. Lots of great networks that are available if you have an antenna. You know, one of those leaf antennas that cost you $20 on Amazon. You can pull some really awesome channels just right off of the airwaves still in HD and pay nothing for them. Yes, Ian, I am planning on gracing you with my presence. That's the wrong way to say it. I'm planning on being there, buddy. It's not a grace. You grace me with your presence. Enjoyed Thick of the Night, as did I. I thought Alan was a great host. I would cast Steve Lookner as the lead in Wonderbug. Should I remember Steve Lookner? Yeah, Cozy TV's awesome. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea would be fun to see reboot. Son of a Red Shirt says, getting Hugh Jackman for a Logan's Run reboot was a joke. Ha! Sometimes it's hard to tell from chats, but I get it now. Yep. Let's see. Lance says he'll be there for the live stream tomorrow, Ian. I enjoy almost everything that Pee Wee has ever done. I recognize that he's an acquired taste, but I enjoy Paul Rubens' humor. Let's see. Superfan Spike Spikerson says, I loved Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Wedge Antilles says, remember when MTV used to show music? I sure do. I did an entire video on the decline of MTV and what it became. Now, you can, if you have the Pluto app, or you can even go to it on your browser, Pluto has a number of MTV channels that are exactly that, music television. So when I'm craving a little MTV, I'll either do that or I will actually look up MTV and on YouTube. I'll type in like a date, MTV in 1983. And there are folks that have like an hour or two of MTV just up. They posted it as a video. So you can kind of like jump in your time machine and go back and watch MTV. And pick a specific year and you can catch some videos. Sometimes they cut the videos out just so that they don't get those copyright notices, but other times they leave them in if they're not trying to monetize the videos. Paul Rubens also did a few guest appearances on Gotham. He sure did. He played the Penguin's father, which interestingly enough, Nick, he played the Penguin's father in Batman Returns as well, the Tim Burton sequel to the original Batman movie. Karen Lester, welcome to live stream. Says my grandkids love Pee-wee's Christmas. Great, great show. And let's see, we're talking a little bit about Mystery Science Theater 3000 here. It's awesome. Ian says, watch the Mystery Science 3000 version of Manos, Hand of Fate, or you'll never get through it. Okay, that's the way I'll do it. All right. Let's see. Yes, Spenguli has great movies on his show. That he has his show on MeTV on Saturday evenings, and I enjoy watching those. I DVR all of those. Yeah, Richard Belzer was who I remember being kind of the sidekick on Thick of the Night. Ian says he remembers the salad bar. It was great, wasn't it? Lots of conversation about Manos, the Hands of Fate. Let's see. Son of a Red Shirt says, I hope it's not inappropriate to speak of another Whitey channel, but since you asked, CCC Cult Cinema has literally hundreds of public domain films to watch. Some are good, some are not. I'll have to check out that channel. I think it's totally appropriate to talk about favorite channels. Let's see. Algama One says Shazam was a strange amalgam. Two guys played Captain Marvel. Yeah, they replaced Jackson Bostwick, and for reasons that he absolutely did not deserve. I believe he won a civil suit against the producers because of that. And then there was Billy Batson, who turned into him, kind of inexplicable, but I still love the show. What's inexplicable to me was that old dude that Billy traveled around with in the RV. That was weird. Mentor was his name. I got to say thank you to Byron Bushnell for the super chat. He says Tubi TV has a lot of great classic television. What can I give you, Byron, to show my support for that or my appreciation for your support and that super chat? First off, let me comment. Tubi TV is great. I love Tubi. That's where I watch a lot of my retro TV, from the Doris Day Show to Family Affair. Free, right? If you have a Roku, a Fire TV, or some other streaming device, you can download the Tubi TV app. You can just, right there on your television, go back, transport yourself to decades gone by and watch some great television. So thank you for the comment, Byron, and thank you for the super chat support. Let me see. I think we're going to go with a little bit of Elvis.
Thank you very much. 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 Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Byron. Really appreciate it. Paul Rotter says they can't reboot ISIS now. So here's an interesting thing about that comment, Paul. A while back, I did a video on Joanne Cameron, who starred as ISIS on that show, and YouTube immediately flagged it and demonetized it because I had ISIS in the title of the video, talked about the character ISIS, and it was only when I went back, re-recorded that, and eliminated the word ISIS in the video was I able to monetize it. And it was just frustrating to me that they couldn't tell that I was talking about the hero, the heroine, ISIS. And but that's the world we live in. Yeah, Jack Palance did a great job as the narrator or the host of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Karen Lester says she misses music on MTV. I do as well. I wish we had a dedicated channel on, whether it's cable or satellite, whatever you have. Oh, this is a great comment. Nick Mamona says that Hugh Jackman could play Jonah on a reboot of Arc 2. Loved Arc 2. And Joey Baseball says, your voice is so soothing and comforting. Well, thank you very much, Joey Baseball. I appreciate the kind words. Yeah, they'd have to name ISIS something else. There's a show called Legends of Tomorrow on the CW where they had a character called, that, can't remember her name, was it Zari? Who was supposed to be kind of like a version of Isis, and of course they never called her that. Reality killed the video star. Absolutely, Paul. And I do miss the VJs so darn much. They were so great, and they brought so much personality to MTV. I remember the specials on HBO that Pee Wee had. Ed Myers, great stuff, and Christopher Seeley. Pepperidge Farm remembers too. Let's see. Mike Silva said, used to watch Nick at Night when I was 7 in 1991 until I was 21 in 2005. Yeah, Nick at Night was great back in the old days. The Buggles. They were the one of the first Sid and Marty Krofft shows that aired on Saturday mornings. Oh, no, that's the Bugaloos. You're talking about the Buggles. Video killed the radio star. Paul Rubens was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Yeah. I did not watch a ton of Buffy. Let's see. Kimberly Wiederhold was more into VH1. Going back to Buffy, though, I got to say there was an episode, Once More with Feeling, it was an all-musical version. I think it was the beginning of season 3 that I did enjoy a lot. I was more into VH1 later on as MTV became more into reality shows as well. Algama One says, love Friday night videos. I sure did as well. That was great because there was a period of time where I didn't have MTV. My parents weren't ponying up for cable. And so Friday night videos was the way that I got my music videos. Raja in 1938 says, forgot that Paul Rubens was in Batman Returns. Yes, as the Penguin's father. Mal Havoc says, I didn't have the patience to finish any season of Gotham. I made it through seasons 1 and 2 and quit watching after that. Sure do remember Captain Cool and the Kongs. Michael Lembeck was Captain Cool, if I remember correctly. Great. And yeah, Lawrence Fishburne was on Pee-wee's Playhouse. Let's see. 12-inch Lando says the salad bar at Wendy's was great. Yeah, I loved it. I felt like I was eating healthy. I'd go to Wendy's and have the salad bar instead of a burger. I don't remember Paul Rubens in Blow. Yes, he did. Working my way through this. Love Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. There's a rebooted version on Amazon. Johnny Whitaker makes an appearance in the first episode. Check it out. Mentor. Yeah, just a weird part of that Shazam live action series. Let's see. Land of the Lost, one of my all-time favorite shows. Not just Sid and Marty Krofft shows, one of my all-time favorites. Love those sleeve stacks. And Lance Chafin, thank you. Super fan Lance Chafin, thank you for the super sticker. Let me throw a little love your way as well, my friend. We're going to do the thank you dance.
And now, it's time for a little dance, and here we go.
Thank you very much, Lance. You're a great friend, and I appreciate the support. Willie Ames does play Bible Man. I haven't watched any of those videos, though, but I know that Willie has an entire production company, I believe. An entire production company that focuses on, like, Christian dramas and all sorts of things. Robot B9 says Mentor was one of those older guys who like to hang around good-looking young superheroes. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Let's see. Oh, Larry Potter. Thank you so much. He says, Agent Carter to me beats all the CW shows. Just my opinion. I wish it had went on for a third season. I agree. That show, ABC needed to show more faith in that show. Maybe Disney Plus can bring it back for that third season. But thank you for the comment. Thank you for the support, Larry Potter. And let's have Robin share his thanks as well.
Grazie, gracias, danke, merci, spasibo, sheshe, arigato gozaimasu.
All right. Thanks again, Larry. Appreciate that. And I'm in total agreement. Total agreement. Now, of course, if you have Disney Plus, you should watch the first episode of What If that has a little bit of an Agent Carter connection. I think you'll enjoy it. Zooperplex says music videos were responsible for burning the brain cells of America's youth. Maybe, but I sure loved them. Algama One says, this was fun, Dave. Thank you. Let's see. Well, thank you for being here. And I thought I saw a comment about, let me go through, let's just kind of burn through some of these comments real fast. Robot B9 says the Land of the Lost movie was a missed opportunity. Should have been a drama. I totally agree. I enjoyed the Shazam movie with Zachary Levi as well. Miles High, welcome to the live stream, said we had a show called Video Hits here in Canada. Yes. And anybody remember, boy, TBS used to play music videos on Fridays and Saturday nights here in the States. I can't remember what they called it. But that was where I got a lot of videos as well. Retro Serial says Bible Man was fun. Haven't seen it, but I've heard that, well, you know, if you're looking for a Christian superhero, it's the way to go. Nick Mamona said loved Agent Carter. Paul Rotter says the Lost in Space reboot on Netflix is awesome. Mal Havoc says, yeah, Mentor today would bring up all sorts of issues. Mike Davis, great to have you here on the live stream. Mike says, agree about Agent Carter. Definitely needed another season. Banana Splits, loved them when I was a kid. Christopher Seeley says Linda Carter is the best Wonder Woman. You get no disagreement from me, my friend. No disagreement at all. She is absolutely stunning. Let's see. Paul Rotter says Nanu, right back at you. And Mike Davis says, yeah, that first episode of What If was great. I've enjoyed all of them so far. Watched them all. Let's see. Lost in Space, great 60s TV show. And I enjoyed the first season, didn't watch the second one all the way through. Probably will get to it at some point and finish it up. Paul Rotter says, thanks for the stream, Dave. Yes, by the Lords of Kobol, you are most welcome. Mike Staunton says, enjoying this live stream. Keep up the good work on the channel. Appreciate the kind words and support, Michael. And folks, you know what? Night Flight was what I was thinking of. Thank you, Lamont. Thank you for popping in there and sharing that information. That's what I was trying to think of. That was on USA. No, there was another one on TBS. Night Tracks. That's it. Lamont has it here as well. Night Tracks and Night Flight. Great. I watched both of them. And then, of course, there was Up All Night. Someone's probably mentioned that here in the comments as well. All right, folks. The hour has passed just like that. I totally appreciate everybody's engagement and supportive comments throughout the last hour. I, again, would encourage everybody, if you haven't gone and checked out my new video, please do. Please check her out. It's I had a lot of fun making it. Let's just say that. And it's the first time I've talked about Adam 12. I also talked a little bit about Galactica 1980. But first time I've talked about Adam 12 on any videos. So for that reason, it might be worth going and checking out as well. But Ken McCord, just a great guy. Definitely worthy of a video, and I hope everybody enjoys it. So with that said, thanks again, everybody. Hope you all have a great remainder of this Labor Day weekend, and we'll talk to you all soon.